gonna mix up the stuff for our campfire peach cobbler so that when we go out to the fire, it's ready to cook. The first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna mix up our crumble topping. Now, you can just mix the dry ingredients and put them in a bowl, and then it calls for butter and milk as well, and you can carry them separately. If you're not going to make the cobbler right away, I would probably recommend doing that. If you're planning on making the cobbler within a day or so of mixing it up, then just go ahead and mix the crust up like we're gonna do today. Put it in a bowl and put it in your cooler, and then when you go to make your cobbler, your crumble crust is ready to go, and you don't have to do any mixing at the campsite. So the first thing we need for this crust is a cup of flour. And you can make this gluten-free. I'm making it gluten-free. You can make it gluten-free or regular, it doesn't matter. It will taste good either way. So we're gonna put the flour in our bowl. Then along with that flour, we're gonna add 2 tablespoons of sugar. We're gonna add a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and then we're just gonna mix that up. You can use a whisk or a fork. Just mix it all up good. Now at this point, like I said, you could put these dry ingredients in a Ziploc bag or a bowl and pack them with your food if you're not mixing the cobbler up, or if you're not cooking the cobbler right away. I'm gonna go ahead and mix the butter and the milk into it and get it all ready, so I'm ready to go. We need 6 tablespoons of butter and 2 tablespoons of whole milk. I think I just plopped my butter out of the freezer, so I think I need to soften it a little bit before I do this. We're gonna add 6 tablespoons of butter. I softened it, made sure it was softened really well. And then you're also gonna add 2 tablespoons of whole milk. And then I think I'm gonna use a pastry blender for this because it's a little bit easier to mix it up that way. You can use a fork, but it's easier to cut the butter into the dry ingredients this way. It's gonna be pretty crumbly when you're done, but you can tell that all the ingredients are worked in together really well. It's not overly wet, it's not overly dry, it's just right. And it's ready to crumble on top of a cobbler. I'm going to just put a lid on this, and you can either set this in your cooler, or if you're cooking it at home, carry it outside and it's ready to go. So I'm gonna set this aside for now. You could put it in a bag or a bowl, it doesn't matter. As long as you keep it in your cooler till you're ready to cook it. Now the next thing we have is the peach filling. And what we're gonna do is just mix the dry ingredients for that in a bowl or a bag. You don't even have to mix it, you can just throw them in there. And then that way we can take it with us when we're camping. So the first thing that we need is 2/3 cup of sugar. We've got 2/3 cup of cane sugar or granulated sugar. You're gonna add a teaspoon of salt. You're gonna add a 1/2 tablespoon of cornstarch. That's your thickening agent for the filling. 1/2 tablespoon of ground cinnamon. And then you're just gonna pop the lid on those ingredients, if this is the right lid, yeah. Put those with your crust and you're ready to go. You just need your peaches, which I'm using. You're gonna need 2 29-ounce cans of peaches. Now, I'd like to use peaches that are in 100% juice, but I could not find those at my store, so I had to get heavy syrup. If you don't want that syrup on there, you can drain them off, but I just leave it on and mix it up with my ingredients. It adds more juice to the cobbler. Make sure you have a can opener And then the last thing you'll need is a 1/4 cup of softened butter. You just throw a butter stick in your cooler. Maybe put it in a Ziploc bag. That way we are ready to go when we go out to make our cobbler. So some supplies that you're gonna need to make this cobbler, in addition to the food, you'll probably want a sharp knife so you can slice your butter, because you're gonna slice that on top of the pie filling. You're gonna need your Dutch oven or a cast iron skillet with a lid. We've done both. And then you're gonna need probably some cooking spray to make cleanup a little bit easier. You probably want to spray the inside or grease the inside of your Dutch oven with some oil. If you had enough butter, you could even grease it with butter. You might want some either pot holders, or sometimes we use welding gloves or grilling gloves. And another thing that's handy, especially if you're using a lid, and we are using a lid for this recipe, is what do you call this? A lid picker-upper. Here's how it works. So you can grasp the handle without touching the lid yourself. That way you don't have to worry about getting burnt. It's pretty much all you need.
And a fire.
And a fire, yeah.
Or coals.
Or a grill. You can use a grill. Because I know a lot of places where you go camping, you can't even have a fire, so. Got some stuff I need to dig out of the camper for this recipe that I'm making. I thought it was in the camp trailer, but I think it's in the camper, so we're gonna go looking for it.
It's like wine today, aren't you? Easy.
Hi, buddy.
Biggie cheese.
You little cutie.
Aren't you not hearing that beat?
No. Are you able to get it? Man, I wish I had a light. Let me have a light.
It's my phone.
I shouldn't be beeping like that, I don't think.
I'm not sure what it is.
Okay, here's our bowls.
Oh.
Butter bowls. Do I want the mugs? I guess I could take them just in case I want them. Beats coming back in here, you know? Alright. This isn't so bad coming in here. Alright. Now I want to go camping. Camping on the farm. Gonna open these peaches. So go ahead and pour your peaches into the pot. You're gonna pour 2 29-ounce cans of peaches. I just leave all the juice in and everything. Just makes the cobbler more juicy. You can give your dry ingredients a little stir if you want. And then just pour them in on top of the peaches. And then what you're gonna do is just mix that up. And I forgot to spray the kettle. Now we're gonna slice this butter on top of those peaches. So just leave some pats of butter all over your peaches. Alright, then we're going to take that crumbled mixture that we made and we're going to crumble it all over the top of the cobbler. This is the best part of the cobbler, in my opinion. With all the juices soaked up into it, it's really, really good. Alright, so now you'll just put the lid on it and we're gonna take it over to the campfire. You're gonna kind of keep an eye on this as it's cooking. It's probably gonna take about 45 minutes for it to cook through. Basically, you just want it to be bubbly, and you want the crumbles on top to turn a nice golden brown, and then it's done and ready to eat. But it'll probably be about, I would say, 40 to 45 minutes.
We have our coals ready. We're using charcoal briquettes today rather than wood. It's been wet out and our wood's wet, so we're just using this. And you can use the coals from a campfire, or you can use charcoal. If you're someplace that doesn't allow a campfire, they'll usually allow a grill. So this works either way.
Put that down on those coals. I'm not gonna put any coals on the lid right now. I'm gonna let it cook till it gets a little bubbly, and then I'll put coals on top. It'll form an oven-like atmosphere with the lid and everything, and it'll bake the whole cobbler. What you got there?
You're
Catch
spilling all
it!
your bubbles. Here, check.
It's raining. Hey, can you take that stuff inside?
Yep.
It's definitely bubbling. I can hear it. Oh, wow. Yeah.
Got so dumpy.
I'm gonna take these extra coals that I have here and put them on the lid, and it will heat up the lid to brown the crust. It's kind of like broiling in your oven. Even just on a few coals today, it's pretty hot. So we're gonna just set it straight on the ground and let it stop cooking so the crust can brown up a little bit. Like every camping trip, it started raining on us.
I'm gonna check on this real quick.
Dark on it. There's also we have
Oh my gosh, it looks good. Got spoon. Yeah, it's hot. The dishes. I forgot how hot these get.
It's too hot to eat though.
It is too hot. We need some ice cream on it. Next time I might take more of the liquid off the peaches. But it actually is really good.
Let me fatten you up.
Stop teasing me.
It's really hot, buddy.
Stop teasing me. I want it.
You want to try it?
Yes.
It's hot though.
Except he's not gonna stop. He's just gonna like
He's just gonna keep.
licking the air around it.
Is it good?
They're eyeing the first hurricane possible.